This view now coming to us from one of our long-range tracking cameras at Vandenberg.
Columbia, energy, ground track, and nav or go.
Roger, Houston.
Mission Control, Houston, PTI number 4 is active. We'd remind you we're taking this view from a...
PTI, we have the STS saturation.
Roger, we copy.
We'd remind you we're taking this view from a long-range, low light level camera on the coastline of California near Vandenberg. Right now, the orbiter maneuvering in PTI number 4. Dan Brandenstein reported flight control system saturation in the automatic mode, and the guidance navigation control officer said that was expected, no problem. There is some motion induced in this image due to the tracking camera following Columbia's path across the skies.
Columbia, take TACAN.
Roger, Houston, taking TACANs.
Columbia now taking TACAN guidance from the landing area. We're now processing Dryden telemetry. We show Columbia at a velocity of 6,875 feet per second and altitude 137,000 feet, descending at a rate of 250 feet per second. The range to Edwards about 209 nautical miles.
Columbia, Houston, like a state vector transfer to the BFS, please.
Okay, we'll do that.
This view of Columbia comes to us from long-range, low light level camera on the coastline of California. We're getting something of a blooming effect here, which is to be expected. The camera has not got a radar lock on, so as the Columbia's motion takes it out of the frame, the camera has to track, and with a low light level chip in there, we get a little bit of blooming on the camera. All going very smoothly in Columbia's approach to Edwards, runway 22. We're now about 8 minutes, 15 seconds from touchdown. Velocity 4,600 feet per second. Altitude 110,000 feet.
Columbia, Houston, we'd like a spec 51 when we can get it.
Mission Control, Houston, we're now looking at an infrared camera view of Columbia.
I'd like another state vector transfer to the BFS, please.
And work.
Range now 70 nautical miles, velocity 2,800 feet per second, altitude 83,000 feet. This view again from an infrared camera at the Dryden Flight Research Center. They're descending about 270 feet per second.
Columbia, Houston, take air data to GNC only.
We were able to get a good view a few moments ago when we were looking at this at the Columbia through another camera, which is low light level rather than infrared, and able to see RCS thruster firings, part of the control sequence as Columbia comes in for the landing. They're now about 53 nautical miles away.
Columbia, Houston, take air data to nav.
That's complete.
Guidance Navigation Control Officer reports the 8th and final PTI now active. Velocity 1,904 feet per second, altitude 72,000 feet, descending at a rate of 160 feet per second. 44 nautical miles out now, 5 minutes and 27 seconds to touchdown. Landform of Columbia now visible in this view from an infrared camera. Columbia just went out of the frame. We're now looking at graphics generated by systems at the Gold Room at Dryden. Columbia's energy and navigation are all in good shape, descending at a rate of 350 feet per second. They're at about 53,000 feet. They're approaching the intersection with a heading alignment circle, and will be making a left overhead turn to line up for the approach to concrete runway 22. They're now about 27 nautical miles out. Xenon lights illuminating the approach end of the runway at Edwards. Columbia will come into our field of view when we have this camera up to the right of the frame, and we'll roll out to the left.
You're looking good approaching the hack. We'd like a state vector transfer to the BFS. Surface winds are 260 at 5, altimeter 3011.
Roger.
Dan Brandenstein has momentarily turned the stick over to pilot Jim Weatherby. Brandenstein will take the stick back as he makes the final approach onto the runway at Edwards. Normally, manual control does not begin until just below Mach 1. The commander is now again flying the Columbia. Brandenstein taking the stick and is bringing Columbia onto the heading alignment circle. He's making a left overhead turn of 195 degrees onto runway 22. So Brandenstein gave Weatherby a A little bit of stick time, now has it back, and Columbia now turning onto the hack, still coming around for the final alignment with Edwards 22. This view again from an infrared camera at Edwards, and we see Columbia making the left overhead turn. They're now about 10.5 nautical miles out, altitude 15,000 feet. Touchdown 1 minute 56 seconds. Flight Dynamics Officer Ed Gonzalez reports they look real good. They're rolling on the final. Columbia is now processing the microwave landing system. Now 1 minute 40 to touchdown. Velocity or altitude 11,000 feet. Range 7.2 nautical mile.
Columbia, we see an on-glide slope converging to center line.
Roger, Houston.
Range now 5 nautical miles. Altitude 5,600 feet. Gear down. Columbia rolls out after a successful flight. This view from an infrared camera again, and of course those images in lighter colors are brighter and hotter.
Wheel stop, Houston.
Roger, Columbia. Welcome home. Outstanding job. You showed us the shuttle at its best, deploying and retrieving satellites. Great way to start the decade. Stand by for your post-landing deltas.
Main gear touchdown at 10 days, 21 hours, 0 minutes, 38 seconds. Nose gear touchdown at 10 days, 21 hours, 0 minutes, 52 seconds. And wheel stop at 10 days, 21 hours, 1 minute, 38 seconds.
Arms RCS and hatch safing are complete.
Roger, copy that. Thanks, Dan.
Mission Control, Houston, the crew's now repositioning the main engines to what's known as the rain drain position. Now moving closer into position to hook up the servicing and cooling. It's Mission Control. Mission Control Houston, the APU shutdown now complete. Convoy is now moving closer into position to hook up the servicing and cooling umbilicals towards the tail end of Columbia. They've moved the white room over towards the orbiter's access hatch.
Columbia Houston, you have a go for vent door purge positioning.
Inward.
Columbia Houston, we're ready for the ammonia DEAC procedure on page 5-22.